So welcome to my little smoke sesh. As you could tell by the title, we're going to be talking about superpowers. We're smoking out of a pipe today because we don't have any rolling paper. And yeah, we're just going to start. It's a conversation, so I'm going to be talking to you as if we're on FaceTime because it's a conversation. So superpowers is like, apparently it's just like your it's your personality, superpowers, it's your personality. It's a lot more natural than a lot of people would think. I mean, if you watch anime, you know. Superpowers is a lot more natural than what the common person would think. So, to my understanding, is if you're really like persuasive, like that's your superpower. Like you're able to persuade people. Now, what makes it a superpower is the spiritual significance. Like that's what I noticed. Like that is what I noticed. It's like the spiritual significance. I'm already high, by the way, so sorry if I'm kind of all over the place already because I was already smoking before I turned on the camera. But anyways, I'm like trying to repack it right now. Wait, where did my weed go? Shit. Okay, I found it. Okay, good. So yeah, I'm already high, just letting you know. So basically, superpowers. Then what the fuck was I saying again? Superpowers are. Oh yeah, that's what I was saying. I noticed that it's like what makes something as simple as being persuasive a superpower is that the spiritual significance. Like you could tell someone like who's ignorant that being persuasive is like being able to persuade people is a superpower. You tell that to someone that's ignorant and they'll be like, how the fuck is that a superpower? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like they look at superpowers as like shooting spider webs out of your freaking fingers. When that's supernatural, but that's not necessarily superpowers. But it's the spiritual significance. So it's like, if you look deeper, like on the surface, you're just persuading someone. But like the spiritual significance of that would be like you're influencing someone's inner world, someone's inner being, and you're molding it to yield in your favor. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like that's tough. Like that's some like, oh shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like when you put it that way, it's like, oh, like that's magic. Like, you know what I'm saying? But like on the surface, you're just fucking persuading someone. You know what I mean? So it's like, bruh. So it's really like the spiritual significance, like the spiritual meaning of things, like what you're really doing on a spiritual level, versus on a mundane level. Like that's what makes it a superpower. You know what I'm saying? I noticed that this fucking reality, like down to the language, is a fucking gaslighter. Like it gaslights the fuck out of you. Like for real. Like I just noticed that just now as I was explaining that. Like what a fucking gaslighter. Like you could just tell someone like, I'm persuading you. Like I just persuaded you to give me a ride to work this morning, even though you don't like to wake up early. Like, and the fucking English language gaslights you to make it seem like, bro, okay, it's not that serious. Like, you just convinced them. But like, the true meaning of what I actually did, like the spiritual meaning of what I actually just did, like I got them to compromise their spirit. Like I'm the stronger spirit because I got you to compromise your spirit and yield it to mine. Like, because you were uncomfortable. Like, you're uncomfortable waking up early, and yet you're still waking up early. Why? Because of me. Like, when you look at like the spiritual meaning of shit, like, because I kind of sounded cocky, but it's just to show that, like, I'm the bigger spirit, because like you're doing something you don't want to do. It's just like the 1% is the bigger spirit, because it got the whole fucking world doing shit it don't want to do, like go to work. You know what I'm saying? Pay bills. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just like this. It's just, but do you see how that's gaslighting though? Like, that's so gaslighting. This whole reality is a fucking gaslighter to really make you like not take truth serious. And like, that's why so much of this shit is like conspiracy theory, because it's just like this world is set up to gaslight the truth. Like, that's just crazy. I'm sorry. That I just had a whole moment that was, I just had a whole moment. That was crazy. That's crazy. Yo. Do you get what I'm saying though? Like, I know I wasn't crazy. I know I wasn't crazy. Look, before I was spiritual, before I knew what I knew today, I knew deep inside something was wrong. Deep inside, I knew something was off with this world. Like, I always knew, bro. I always knew. Before, I have answers now. But before I got these answers, man, I knew I wasn't tripping. I knew something was off, but this whole world is a gaslighter, bro. Oh, God. I've been getting gaslighted since like 5 years old. I've been getting gaslighted. Since like 5 years old, I've been getting gaslighted, bro. By this fucking reality, bro. I knew I wasn't crazy. I'm sorry. I'm stuck a whole moment. What am I smoking right now? But seriously, like, I knew I wasn't tripping. If you could relate, drop a comment. Tell me your story if it's relatable to mine, because since a jit, I felt in my soul something wasn't right with this fucking world, bro. This whole reality gaslights you, bro, down to the language, bro. Just gaslights your ass. Anyways, superpowers. Superpowers is very natural. It's a very natural thing. So I like to use astrology and human design to try to like figure out my superpowers. Like, persuasion is actually one of my superpowers. Like, I use that as an example because like it's actually legitimately one of my superpowers. But for it to work, they have to be already interested in what I'm going to like, in like the subject. You know what I'm saying? So like, if I'm going to like, let's say like I'm going to try to like persuade you to smoke weed. If I were to try to persuade you to smoke weed, for that to be successful, you have to already be interested in like drugs. Meaning like you already have to be like a hardcore like druggie, or maybe not even hardcore, or maybe like you just like smoke cigarettes. You know what I'm saying? But you have to already be someone that smokes and do drugs. You know what I'm saying? For it to like work. So like, let's say like you smoke cigarettes and you've never smoked weed in your life before, like you just only smoked cigs, like I'd be able to convince you to smoke weed and try it for the first time. But like if you say like you don't do drugs at all, like you don't smoke at all, I most likely probably wouldn't be able to convince you to smoke weed then. And I know that sounds like it's really natural, so I know it sounds like duh, like I'm pretty sure that's like for anyone, that's for anybody, but I don't think that's for anybody. I don't think everyone could convince someone to try weed for the first time, even if they already smoke nicotine, or if they do fucking crack cocaine or whatever the fuck they may do. Like, I don't think just anyone would be able to get them to try weed for the first time, but like I would be able to get someone to try weed for the first time if they already smoke. But yeah, so that's just like an example of like how like that works. And I figured that like superpower out. I figured that out through human design. When I was reading my human design chart, I figured that out. So I was like, oh shit, like And then when I thought about it, it was like, oh, that is true. Like, I never really noticed it. Like, when you really start to understand like how superpowers work, because again, they're a lot more natural than you would think. But once you really start to understand how they work and what and again, like the spiritual significance, like the spiritual significance, like, because that's what makes it a super, like that's what makes it understandable as a superpower, I like to say. Because again, like this whole reality is a fucking gaslighter. So if I just were to say like I could persuade people, they'd be like, okay, whatever. But like, if you understand the spiritual significance. So yeah, you just have to understand that superpowers are more natural than you would expect, and you also have to understand the spiritual significance of things. If you understand both of those, then like when you go to study your human design chart or like your astrology chart, like you could really start to understand yourself and how you're a god and how like you're powerful. Like you have superpowers, and like God made man in his image. Like, okay then. So anyways, as I'm saying, you're God and you have superpowers, you have abilities, you have gifts, you can create. So yeah, you're fucking God. And I'm sorry, I just get frustrated sometimes with that. But you could just study your charts, astrology, human design to find that out. And I've been like doing that since 2020. But I didn't do it. I didn't do it like looking, like specifically looking for my superpowers. You know what I'm saying? I was just trying to like do shadow work and like master myself. But now like reapplying everything that I already know and reapplying it as like a superpower, and like understanding the spiritual significance of it and how it plays out in natural ways in this gaslighting as reality, I'm able to re-understand myself, but as a god, as a powerful person. I just have to again master these abilities and superpowers and actually actively use them. Then it will really start to feel like a fucking superpower. Like, you know what I'm saying? You just become like a whole mental like Lord or God or whatever. Like, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool.